Good morning, Jenny Clouston here. Well, today we are back doing our little hexagon, and I'm going to be doing twisted chain. Now, as you know, I have my favorite stitches, feather stitch being one of them, fern another. I love fern. It holds a curve and is lovely, and I can add all sorts of things to it. And then the next favorite one is a twisted chain. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. Quite a few women who come to my class, they call it the bitch stitch because they just can't get it right. And it turns them into, well, you know, grumpy people. However, I'm really going to encourage you to give this a go. She's tricky, but she's worth the effort. She really is. Sorry, I've just dropped something. Now, if I have a look at it in this book, Twisted Chain, and in fact any book, and even if you go online, there's many people doing a twisted chain. There's the instructions for a twisted chain. Perfectly fine, blah de blah. But as you know, I do mine upside down. So if you need the book again, just turn it upside down for me and it'll help you. Now trust me here. Trust me, I'm a doctor. If you do it upside down, it's going to make your life so much easier. But before I go ahead, I'm just going to talk about color. I don't know if you remember that at the end of my last video on this project, I saw this and I went, oh my hat, this really does flip my pancake, and I really wanted to use that. But I realized afterwards that for me, I'm just adding color too soon. And I thought I'm just going to stay green here because I'm having a feeling that I'm going to have flowers amongst this. So if I added this color here, which is really beautiful, there would be no room to move when I add the colors. So once again, I went back to my favorite green in the whole wide world, Tuscan olive. However, I had used it there, so she was no. And then the next one I went to is eucalypt also, and I've used that. I have used a 2mm silk ribbon because I wanted it to look slightly different to this one over here. I work in juxtaposition because, as you know, I'm not working from a pattern, so I've got to give a little bit of thought to design and dimension. So that's quite that was a Perle number 8, a finer thread, and I wanted to get some kind of interest, so I went here for a 2mm silk ribbon. For those of you who don't have a 2mm silk ribbon, maybe you can try Perle number 5, or maybe all 6 strands of of DMC stranded cotton. Okay, and you can see I've just sort of this is my primary curve, and then this one went in afterwards. So let's talk twisted chain. So it starts here and it's going to end there. So what that means to me is I'm going to turn my work upside down and I'm going to work away from me. During the whole procedure of this twisted chain, my needle is going to point away from me and it's going to scoop up and down like a dolphin all the way. At no stage ever, unless I'm ending off, does this needle go underneath my hoop and stay there. Okay. If you go back a few videos, you will see that we did a single twisted chain. So that's how a twisted chain starts. You bring your needle up, you go backwards slightly, and you go forwards, all in a straight line. It is a chain stitch, so that means the thread has to go underneath the needle. The first one, it doesn't matter whether you go this way or that way, it doesn't matter. Put your thumb on top of it and leave it there right till the end. Spider fingers to pull your thread through. Don't pull it too tightly, and there you go. Twisted chain works from right, left, alternate all the way down. Your next one, where those 2 threads are crossing, extend it out slightly and then take a bite and go back down onto that line that you've just drawn. I actually would advise you to draw a line when you're doing twisted chain because it really will help you. It'll eliminate all sorts of things. Okay, so now back. It's a chain stitch, so that means the thread has to go underneath the needle. You can see if I do it that way, there's nothing twisted about this thread. However, if I go over the bite of the needle and then underneath and then lay her on top gently, that's how I want her to look. Put your thumb on top of her and keep her there right till the end. Do not lift her up. Next one, in line with where the stitches cross, not where the thread comes out, where the stitches cross out slightly. Splay your legs, don't be a lady here, get them nice and wide open, and then underneath, over. That's how you want her to look. Put your thumb on top of her and pull through. Let's do it again. In line with where she crosses, out, bite, on there, underneath, over, thumb or finger, whatever tickles your pickle, pulls it out. I think I'm going to do one more here because okay, out, I won't tell you why, and then come up over here. Do not go through your ribbon, people, if there is a flower there. Keep your finger on top of her and pull through. Come on, petal, and back down you go to end off. I'll show you how to end off on the other side. So there we go, that's twisted chain. She's lovely, lovely, lovely. So I'm going to come out. This line doesn't really do it for me much here. Sorry, you're going to have two lines here. I'll draw this one really dark so you can see. That's a bit better, Jennifer. So I'm going to come up over here. Remember, we're going to start again. So come up. I'm going to go backwards, forwards, twist her, thumb on her, keep her there till the end. Now, I'm glad that actually happened. Can you see how this isn't neat and tidy and closed like that? Firstly, the stitch was too big, and secondly, it clearly was not all in the straight line going again. So let me do this one again, because that will not make me happy. Let's keep her a little bit smaller. Backwards, forwards, twist her, finger on her right till the end, and off we go. To the right, in line where she crosses, out, bite, stop there, figure out which way to go, finger down, and pull through. Remember where she crosses, out, bite. Remember, I'm heading off this way. I've got two lines drawn here. There you go. So what would happen if you needed, all right, let me finish, out. So don't do this. You see it's too close. You won't get these beautiful legs on here. Give yourself long, elegant legs, and keep your legs open, ladies. And then this way you're going to fold over. Now what would happen if I wanted to end off, I was running out of thread? You end off by going down there on the other side of your chain, finish it off at the back, you do your anchoring, not blah, 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 and your new thread, you're going to come up in that little pearl that you've just created there, inside your chain. Pull her that way, in line with that, bite down, chain over, keep your finger there, soft hands, and there you go. That is twisted chain. Isn't she lovely? She is lovely. Oh, she's so good. Now, back to this. So I have done my twisted chain on there with a 2mm silk ribbon, or anything, thicker than this thread over here. And I want to soften this because it's too heavy. So you can see I've actually started to add straight stitches, and to soften, I think I know what I'm going to do with them. Please make sure that when you're adding these straight stitches to this, that they are very nice and long, and your thread is thinner than your twisted chain. If you don't do that, you are going to make this very much heavier. I'm using a twisted silk here, which is a really beautiful thread, if you don't have a twisted silk or a pearl number 12, for example, you can use 2 strands of your stranded cotton, which is really good. And whenever I add anything, I don't sort of add it at the new stitches at the bottom or at the end. I always try and audition them kind of in the center, because I know what they're going to look like there. And also always remember that you're going to come from out into where there are a whole lot of stitches, not the reverse. So there you go. I'll do another long one. Please keep these very nice and long, because otherwise you will make this twisted chain very, very heavy and dense, and we do not want this. When you're adding your little elbows, please make sure that the angle of your little elbow isn't too jaunty, and just give it a small little kick. Don't give it a massive kick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just travel. I'm going to end this off because I want to show you how to give yourself. Just let me start a new thread here, and let's hope I don't have trouble threading like I did the other day with my beading thread. I'll tell you a little secret. I didn't have the greatest needle in the world when I was beading. The better, I don't know, the better the needle, the easier the threading. That's why I'm a Bowen girl. I love a Bowen needle. They're much easier to thread. The birds are back. So maybe the storm. We were supposed to get a storm yesterday. It didn't amount to anything. Lots of noise, but very little else. So when I come to the end, you really don't want a hard sort of blunt edge. You always want to really, really soften your edges. Well, for me, I do. So let's go from out in first, nice and long. And make these lovely and long. Sorry, I get really quiet when I stitch. It's so difficult to talk when I'm stitching. It's weird. I want to go quiet, but I have to knit a natter. There you go. And some little elbows. There you go. I reckon one more. What do you think? I reckon one more at the top. Now, let's go back to this. When we did our twisted chain, we created a very strong rhythm. It was very strong. It was a definite line. When we add our little bits and bobs and our little bits of pieces to it, you don't have to keep that rigid. They can be scattered. You can have 2 there and then nothing there and then 1 here. You can, just mess the rhythm of this up a little bit. Otherwise it's way too strong. So just try and get a little bit busy on here and not keep that very strong rhythm happening. So I'm going to go and pack all my little bits and pieces up for Macleay Island, all my class samples and everything else that I need. So I'm going to leave this with you for now. If you can do that, and if I have done twisted chain in a previous video, I apologize. Not really. I've done it. There's my 15 minutes. And thank you so much for your time. And I will post a video of Macleay Island and the beautiful studios where all these ribbons are dyed. Thanks for your time again. Bye. Look at Karen Jennings. Hers is nearly done. Oh, and Michaela's.
Your second one.
Wow. Okay.
That's pretty.